Well, good Saturday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods here. I hope everybody is having a good Saturday. We're going to be doing something special on a daily basis for the next week. 1 week from today, we will be in an RV driving to Dallas to support our buddy Stuart. Stuart went back home yesterday. Last night was a really rough night. This is actually a print I did yesterday for Stuart. Joe Boo's got you, Stuart. You can see my man's Joe Boo's got you in his hands, buddy. What we're going to do is, as a thank you to everybody who has done donations on the GoFundMe, as well as anybody that does super chats this week, what we're doing is we are going to take all of you guys and we're going to be doing these prints giving away. This is actually over here, one of Charles Haley with the 5 rings up in there. We've got different ones that I'm making from like Micah Parsons. Boom. There's Micah. There's the Hail Mary, and so on. And of course, Roger and Tom Landry. And this is pieces that I make on my Inventables that I really and truly enjoy making. And I don't sell these. These I just give away because they're copyrighted pictures. Don't want to get in any problems in there, but I enjoy making them and stuff. And so we're going to be doing a giveaway of those every single day. So I appreciate everybody who has supported this trip. There are so many people that have helped and all that. We're going to go down and we're going to do something good for somebody else. So keep my man Stuart in your prayers. That's what I ask of everybody. Okay, so here we sit. This is a time of year where things evolve. There is a pattern to Dallas Cowboys talk. The end of the season, the Dallas Cowboys are a failure. They're a talented team. They suck. Their coaches are terrible. Their quarterback let them down, blah, 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 blah. Then we go into free agency because the Cowboys don't spend a lot of money in free agency. You know, you look at the Giants. Oh, the Giants got Kenny Golladay. They got Kyle Rudolph. That team is loaded, right? Right? That's what happens. The Cowboys, well, they didn't sign anybody. But they end up getting guys like, say Jaron Kearse. Not a big name, but you could look and say his impact was a lot better than some of the big signings that other teams made. But they don't give you that. Then we go to the draft. First, they'll tell you the Cowboys are stupid to draft this guy. Oh, my God, they drafted CeeDee Lamb when they needed help on the defense. They stuck. Well, now CD, in his 3rd year, has got to be the guy. Micah Parsons, a line. They should have taken a cornerback. Wow. Defensive Player of the Year. Rookie Defensive Player of the Year. Guy got 5 votes for Defensive Player of the Year. Okay. Then they'll tell you that everybody else in the division got better. The Cowboys, they stink. The Eagles, they've signed all these players. The Eagles are ready to blow up. The Cowboys stink. And then I'll tell you all the mistakes that the Cowboys made. Oh, the Cowboys. Oh, my God, they let La'el Collins go. Like there are no other offensive tackles in football. That's the only one. The shelf is bare. But it might even be conceivable that a guy might be on the roster that might be better, or that they end up drafting and finding a guy that replaced him, and that they looked at it and said, we have somebody that's better, and that's why we let him go. They don't give you that kind of possibility. In my mind, Terrence Steele, not anybody that when he was out there as an undrafted rookie free agent, thought he was worth shit. They never saw him as a starter in the NFL. If they did, somebody would have got him. Yet, you could say that he was our 3rd best offensive lineman last year, which is why La'el Collins got let go. And they could save some money. You don't look at that. They don't look at that situation and say, well, the Cowboys had a replacement for him and they got cash where they can bring in somebody else that might be better. Or even if you say, you could even say, well, maybe he is a slight step back, but we got $10 million where we can bring in somebody else. So between the $10 million and even if it were a slight step back and it's not, you could say that that was actually a good move. You could look at Connor Williams like, oh my God, there's no more guards out there. You can't replace him. Even though he led the league in penalties, right? That maybe Tyler Smith, who's cheaper, will be better. That he won't get lifted up and carried and dropped back in the quarterback's lap. And it brings me to Randy Gregory. Now here's an interesting tad bit on Randy. And I'm not going to say that Randy Gregory wasn't a good player last year, but they make it out like Randy Gregory was the be-all, end-all of everything. Now, here's the thing that's interesting with Randy. Randy Gregory had off-season shoulder surgery. They said this is going to fix a problem that's been a nagging problem for a long time for him. And that's good to get it done. The problem is you're going to a new team and you can't practice. He's probably going to enter training camp on the PUP list. They're hoping that he'll be ready for week 1. But let me ask you this. Have you heard this story before? Because if you remember, DeMarcus Lawrence, after playing on the franchise tag and the Cowboys hemming and hawing about doing a long-term deal for him, said, you know what, bro? I'm not getting my shoulder worked on until you pay me. Not going to do it. And because of that, what happened to the Dallas Cowboys is he wasn't ready when the season started. He couldn't work out with the team. And if you don't think having your shoulder is big as an edge rusher, everything's going through your shoulder. You've got to be able to hit the guy, be able to extend and get rid of him. If you are still rehabbing your shoulder, you don't have the strength. You don't have the wherewithal. You don't have also the practice in real time to learn a new system. Thus, you won't be as effective. So as we go through here and start thinking about this, Randy Gregory would have had the surgery done whether he was a Cowboy or a Bronco. Now, let me give you a cautionary tale, because we can look at a situation. In the same year that DeMarcus Lawrence signed his contract, Trey Flowers was coming off of a great year for the New England Patriots. In fact, coming off 3 great years. 7 sacks in 2016, 6.5 sacks in 2017, 7.5 sacks in 2018. New England said, see ya. We're not paying you a boatload of money. They let him go. He signs a 5-year, $90 million contract with the Detroit Lions. The first year, 7 sacks. Just good. About where he was. But since that time, he's been injured the last 2 years. 2 sacks and 1.5 sacks. And currently is unemployed. He's a free agent out there. But clearly, his play dropped off and injuries took over. Now, is it possible that that's going to be Randy Gregory, who just had the shoulder surgery? I'm not belittling what Randy Gregory can do on the field. I am not. That has not been the issue. The problem is injuries and suspensions. And you look at that and say, that's a lot of money to take a chance. And if you look at it, you can kind of say, wow, New England, they got a 3rd or 4th round compensatory pick to let him go. We'll get a 4th round compensatory pick for him going. We may look back at this in a year or 2 and say, wow, that was actually a wise move, because we brought in a young guy in Sam Williams who can bend the edge, who is faster, who is stronger, who he has had some off the field issues, but we'll see where it goes. Is it conceivable that between him and Dante Fowler, who is a guy that's a lot cheaper, who is on a better team, and we've seen him thrive when he's been around other talent? Let's be clear, in Atlanta, there was no talent on the defense. At 4.5 sacks, he was the team leader. He was the guy they said, well, we stop him, we stop the whole defense. So it may be conceivable that these moves that the Cowboys made between letting Amari Cooper go, and I won't argue that the Cowboys let him go for too cheap. It is conceivable that Amari Cooper's peak has been there. We've already seen twice where Amari Cooper, has played good for a couple of years and then tailed off. Played good for a couple of years and then kind of tailed off. That this may be a pattern. Now, we'll see what happens with him if Deshaun Watson is actually playing this year, how it works out. But I do want to go this morning to NFL Total Access and just look at what they think about the Cowboys' biggest offseason issue is.
Somehow not a name that we've been talking too much about this offseason because so much of the focus has been on the wide receiver room with Amari Cooper leaving. But we know that when Zeke is healthy, he can be a game changer. When it comes to this Cowboys offense, though, which Cowboy not named Dak Prescott is the most critical to this team's success, LT?
It's actually the coach. Ooh. It's Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is a Super Bowl championship coach. In the past, obviously, he's been known for having great offenses. But I really believe the pressure is on him this year. Last season, there were a few games where Mike McCarthy actually cost his Cowboys team a game because of his decision-making, game management, clock management at times. Now, Mike is a guy that's going to have to obviously take the reins, I believe, a little bit more. But here's the thing, and I'm going to be honest. Here in Dallas, where I live, everybody is talking about Dan Quinn waiting in the wings, maybe Sean Payton. Mike McCarthy hears that. He has to be able to block it out and get this team where they need to be because they have the talent to make a Super Bowl run right now. If that doesn't happen, trust me, where there's smoke, there's fire. And Mike McCarthy may not be in Dallas much longer.
LT, I love the point that you're making about situational football as well and how important that is for the coaching staff. As I look at this football team, one of the things that's going to make a difference for them this year is the continual improvement of the defense. Last year, Dan Quinn came in and changed things dramatically. He had a tool and a weapon like Micah Parsons who made an enormous change for their defense. The key is this year that Micah Parsons cannot digress this season. He actually has to be better than what he was. So the combination of Dan Quinn, Micah Parsons, and the rest of that defense really have to stand up to continue to make a difference for the Dallas Cowboys.
Scott, Micah Parsons talked to the media today, and one thing he was asked about was, well, in year 2, people looking more for you in terms of game plan. He said, well, they were looking for me last year, but it is going to be more challenging. The great ones just find a way. Well, the great ones also do it year after year, which is the challenge for Micah Parsons. Also going to be the challenge for CeeDee Lamb as he steps into the true #1 role after Amari Cooper was traded away to the Cleveland Browns. Lamb led the Cowboys last season with 79 catches for 1,102 yards. He played outside more, where as a rookie he had been more so in the slot. Now with Cooper gone, Michael Gallup coming off of a torn ACL, it is going to be a lot of focus on CeeDee Lamb, who, by the way, eligible for a contract extension after this season, an opportunity to make himself a lot of money here.
Well, receivers haven't been making money, so he might have to wait.
Yeah.
Good. But by the way, let's give a little love for the Dalton Schultz, too, who will also be heavily prominent in that passing game. But one of the things that stands out to me about the Dallas Cowboys is the offensive line. For the last decade or so, the strength of this offense has stemmed from how well they have played on the offensive line. Now, obviously, they let go of Collins, who's now in Cincinnati. They drafted Tyler Smith, who's going to come in and play left guard. He'll eventually be the left tackle. To me, if the offensive line does not play well, it doesn't matter, because that is what will hurt Dak Prescott that'll hurt the running game. And so for
That
me,
will.
as long as that offensive line can rebound and get back to that elite status that they had for a number of years, everything else is almost moot.
Is it?
It is.
I don't know if it's mood. I mean, I think what I grasp from all of this, but it's not going to be just one person. It's not going to land on one person's shoulders. This is, without a doubt, an all-hands-on-deck type of situation. But if we are
As it
talking
always
about
is.
big holes here, I think Amari Cooper leaving was huge. And to your point, Tom, CeeDee Lamb is going to have to make up for those, 100-plus catches that Amari made up for last year. And when you're a guy who's moving his locker closer to the QB, I feel like he's calling dibs on those, isn't he?
A little bit, yeah.
All right, we got to get it together. Elsewhere in the NFC
100-plus catches. Amari didn't have 100-plus catches. What the hell are you talking about? Wait a minute. Hold on. A 100-plus catches. I don't know that he's had 100-plus catches with ever. This is the problem. Look, he had 68 last year, 92 in 20, 79 in 19, and 53 and 22 together. And that's it. Anyway, that's all I got for you this morning. And I hope you guys have a great day. We will be back. Of course, I'm going to be in my workshop doing a lot of work today, and we'll probably be doing some live streams and things. So you know how we roll.
Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe for the Sports Report.
One hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is